Second, I'm going to turn on the light. It's down there, just doesn't want to bite. 516. Dead stick over here. There's my fresh go bag. That's where I keep my items. Spare underwear. Welcome back there, Jeff. I don't know if this stream's gonna be any better. It's just so frustrating. So I'm gonna turn on a light here. Alright, I'm going to try putting on a really, really small frostbite spoon. How that fares. So far, I've had a few minnows taken. Had them look at my rattle bait really close. Now I'm just going to throw down a micro dinner bell spoon. I've never used these dinner bell spoons really very much, so is there a trick to them? I don't know. Seems like you want to get that little dinner bell trapdoor swinging by bouncing it a little. Seems like a reasonable way to use it. No problem there, Corey. We'll set something up in the future, you know? So far, I've had a couple of minnows stolen out there. And I've had fish looking at my lure. And then, of course, the most exciting part about this live broadcast has been it going on and off about 50 times. I'm sure that's frustrating for you guys, but it's also probably equally as frustrating for me because I don't want to have to mess around with it. Just want to start the broadcast and catch some fish, you know? Not watch it go on and off constantly. I tell you, those fish down there, they seem to really like the rattle baits, but they definitely don't always bite them. They like looking at them. It seems like some days when they're going to hit a rattle bait, they're going to hit it really hard, and then other days, from what I've seen from my camera and from my fish finder here, is just Just some days they just want to look at it, you know? It's like they sure get right up to it sometimes. So I got this micro dinner bell on here. I was hoping it would attract whatever fish had been eyeballing my bait for the last 10 minutes. But it seems to be repelling everything. I'm going to try to go through a variety of lures in the next few minutes here. So you know, on my other rig there, I have a spoon with a minnow on it, dead bait style, very small spoon. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to see if I can't rig up on my dead stick there, just like a very simple hook sinker combo. Oh, looks like we got a looker. We got him. It's gonna be, I bet you, small perch. There you go, skunks out of the tent. So this has been obviously the only perch that's been hanging around because he's got all my minnows in his mouth. I wasn't even fishing with a minnow. Grab a couple of those back. Alright, just a perch. Send you grandma. Alright. So there you go. There was a perch down there. And he's heisting my minnows. Those are both the minnows that I was missing, so I know he was the culprit. Hopefully that's not the only fish in this area here. I mean, I see one down there right now. Looks like he's... Oh, he scrambled. No. So this dinner bell has nothing on it. It's just really, really small. I might put a minnow head on it for a little bit of flavor, you know? Alright, I'm gonna do that. Alright, gonna put a minnow head on here. And then again, I was gonna look at a simple hook and sinker rig. Oops. Alright, so we got our minnow head down there. Very small setup, very light. So far, small perch. Hoping some eyeballs get coming in here. So yeah, I'm gonna put down my rod here. And then I'm gonna check what kind of gear I have to rig up a simple slip shot, or split shot, pardon me, hook minnow rig. A lot of times I like to use, in place of a sinker, I like to use a big spoon with a dropper to a minnow. I find that can work really well. So, what do we got here? activity down here. Huh. It's only activity when you're not looking at the rod. So anybody out there who hasn't left a comment on my last video, please do. My last ice update, because if you leave a comment, you'll be entered in a draw for a brand new Masuda rod. So it's fairly easy to get into that competition. Just leave a comment and you're good. So that's the January 25th video, I think. It's starting to get a little bit cold out here. Let's see. Okay. All right. Looks like I got the gear for it. All right. So I'm just gonna do a super simple rig here. Okay. Alright, keep an eye on the rod for me here. Just gonna grab my pliers. Just over here. Oh. That's no good. Nope, there it is. Seems like the signal has stabilized here a little bit. Just gonna tie up the rig. Not sure if this is the kind of thing you guys like to watch go down, but in case you do. So I got this is 10-pound line, maybe it's 6. Yeah, it might be a 6-pound fluorocarbon. I put this split shot tungsten on there. Since I like using my teeth, or not using my teeth, I like using my teeth for eating food. Instead of clamping on split shots, I can use my pliers there. So there you go. I'm going to put a big juicy minnow at the end there. Hopefully we'll see some action. Alright. Cut up the tag ends. Okay, so had stolen my minnow off of my other spoon here. So on my bait rig here, I've got a very small treble hook for the minnow. I think I like for dead sticking. I seem to enjoy using treble hooks, a small one. I like to get a couple of hooks in the middle there and then one free. Don't know how you guys like to rig it. Alright. Minnow on there. Oops. Going down the hole. Something ain't right. Okay. Minnow. Okay. Down they go. Gonna get that right down at the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna set up the I was fishing with my son, and I had this trigger mechanism set up in front of him. It actually, with the bite that was going on that day, it actually got him pretty hyped about it. Well, I'm glad to see that our signal seems to have stabilized a bit here. For now, knock on wood. Let's see if the fishing can stabilize a little bit, eh? Yeah, I definitely enjoy this Garmin fish finder. I'm getting my use out of it there, Andrew. It's definitely the kind of thing that can do a lot of stuff, summer and winter. This particular Garmin Striker 4, you know. And I liked the price. It was a good price. So I'm definitely enjoying it. It's definitely given me that fish finder slash flasher vibe that is pretty fun. Sometimes it's neat though to come out without any electronics and just fish like a grandpa, you know? I do that every once in a while. All right, fish, we're ready for you. Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion there, Jeff. I think I will switch up to a rattle bait on my jig in hand here. That is definitely one of my favorite combos. A dead stick, one dead stick, and then a rattly or noisy bait. Sweet, Steve. Thanks for the purchase. I'm glad you're enjoying your cook with ice swag. I'm still sitting on a whack of these hats, but I figured out a very relatively cheap way to ship them, so it's kind of neat. I vacuum seal them with a vacuum sealer, which makes them much smaller, and then I'm able to get them into a thinner envelope. And then you can mail them for, it just goes in the letter mail. It's kind of cool. Myra Jones, I'll have to give you a view of what my tent is like right now, because right now it is so frozen to the ice. Like it's part of the ice right now. It's been one of the more stressful things in my life as of late, how frozen in this ice hut is right now. I've been spending like days chipping away, trying to get it out. There's been items frozen in the middle of the floor. I got a jaw jacker behind me that's under like 6 inches of ice, and I'm determined to get it out of there. Anyway, I'm planning on making a video about it that will be humorous, but at the same time, it's been such a burn to me that sometimes I forget to videotape it as it's happening. But I got plans, you know? It's just, I was spudding so hard trying to loosen up some of the ice around this thing that it like tore the skin on my hand, my spudding hand. So needless to say that my life's just a little bit less comfortable here. I don't know if you can see it. It's right over here. So anyway, yeah, the key I think to keeping your hut from freezing to the ice and having it do to you what it did to me is the safest way is to remove it every night. You'll have a very minor amount of buildup. I know sometimes a heater can melt a lot of stuff. Try to like maybe, you know, make a few trails through the ice that sort of pulls the water away from the sides of your tent. But the hottest tip is definitely remove it right after you're done with it. And then if water's coming up through the hole, it's gonna definitely freeze your tent. But sometimes there isn't much you can do about that. All I can say is the faster you act on it, the better you're gonna do in the end. It's like I left this hut out here for a couple of days. Yeah, it's in there good. But I don't have to worry about wind or anything. Nothing's gonna take this hut away. Brian, that's funny. You know, there was a time when my I Cook with Ice merch, I had kids stuff too, eh? If people are interested in that, I can add those back to my store. I don't think I sold too many kids items, but I've designed a whole bunch of shirts for my son. You know, just funny ones. He seems to enjoy them. I've made him a few For Real Fishing shirts, and he likes those too. But I made him some real, like, custom stuff. Okay, I'm gonna throw down a noisy rattle bait, and hopefully that's gonna attract some action to my dead stick minnow. What do we got here? It's funny because I'm looking at 3-4 rattle baits as we speak, but I've got the ones that I really like, But I'll throw this one down. Sometimes it's funny with lures, and I'm sure everybody does it this way, is you have like your go-to lures, the ones that have worked in the past, and you're going to start with those, and you're probably going to finish with those, And then you have these lures that you bought because you thought they looked really good, and then you tried them once, you didn't catch anything, and so they sat in your box for years. And then one day, nothing's working. And then you look at that lure that you tried once and it never worked, and you're like, I guess it's time to give that lure its second chance. And then you use it, and boom, all of a sudden it catches some exceptional fish, and then it gets into your favored lure pile, even though for years, you didn't really like that lure. This is one of those lures. I like the coloring. It's got a gold with like a greeny hue. I like gold a lot. And it's from Storm. It's called the Orochi Vibe 07. So it's got like a larger rattle bead. It's not like some of the other ones that have tiny little beads in them. So let's see how that fares. This thing always does this funny zoom thing, and I don't know how to fix it. Yeah, that's a little better. All right. Now you see, we did have a bunch of minnows stolen, and then we caught a small perch that had a bunch of minnows in his mouth. So, it's a little bit more than just catching a perch. It's like you caught a perch, but you also solved a mystery. Who was eating all my minnows? It was him. The vibrato, I would say, number one, you barely need to do anything with it to make it move a lot. That's something that I noticed from using an underwater camera, is it takes just like a minor twitch, and it'll do a lot of like it'll wobble like crazy. I like them a lot because they really, you really know you got something on there when you jig up a vibrato. It's like your arm shakes, and I like that. I feel like that throws off a lot of attraction into the water, I guess you would say. However, there are other days when working them as lightly as possible can be very profitable. And sometimes just like a lot of action and then just let it sit. I mean, I find that works with a lot of different lures. It's like rattle baits as well. I like to like really rattle them, drop them from 10 feet up, drop them back down, let them sit, and then just let them sit for 30 seconds, whatever, and then start just a little twitching. I'm definitely not a pro fisherman. So sometimes I'm like, I don't know if my tips are going to help you or impede you, but I like to rock them that way, and they seem to work really well. And if you're really in a pinch, put a minnow head on each hook and just let it dead stick. It'll like spin, and the minnow heads will be on the hook, and something will come and grab it from either side. And they got so many hooks on them. That's another downside to the vibratos is there's so many, it's a lot of hooks, and you do the wrong thing, and you're gonna have one hook on your pants, another hook on a chair, that kind of stuff. So you have to be really wary when using those as well. When you got a fish on and he's just got the one hook, something about the shape of that vibrato just swings around that other hook in a way that you don't necessarily get with even crankbaits. So somebody came and checked out my lure there for a second. And then they left. Yeah, definitely. With rattle baits, I like the louder the better. Caught a clam. Yeah, I've caught a few clams too. I'm always sort of amazed how it happens. Like I always wonder if my hook just happened to get in there and then the clam closed its mouth. Like if it was just like a 1 in a million shot kind of thing. Or do those clams have their mouths like wide open? I mean, they're just filter feeders, right? So they probably it's probably just a 1 in a million shot. There's probably so many clams down there that explains why you catch them every once in a while. That's a good point, Ryan. Yeah, because I seriously, like, I was cleaning out my shed right before we had my son, and I can tell you, I found a disturbing amount of fishing lures, like so many that I never use. But of course, I can't let them go, right? Because they're all these fancy, shiny lures. But yeah, I found so many lures. It's like for the lures I use, I could probably fit them in one tray of a small tackle box, my regulars. Oh man. So I guess at about 6 o'clock here, I'm gonna wrap this up because gotta go in and see what's going on. Hopefully my wife was able to pick up my son at daycare there. And then be able to get back here. Right now, Brian, I am jigging a rattle bait, but I was jigging the dinner bell earlier, the really, really small one. That's what I finally caught that perch on. So this is some of the first times I've ever used them. So I've heard a lot of good things. I'm looking forward to them catching some fish for me. I do like spoons a lot in the winter. It is about, right now, I think it's about -20 out there. It's crazy because it was so cold for a while that right now, like, this weather feels pretty nice. You're like, it's -20, but it's like being on a beach. Not quite like that, but when it gets down to -40 and then you have a -20 day, you can really appreciate the difference. I wonder, off grid, if how much data it would take to do a all night live on the ice. Take a lot, I'd imagine. I'm trying to think. It's probably about a gigabyte per hour, so it's not impossible. I just might not have the opportunity to duck out for a whole night. Alright, so we got 4 minutes to go. And then I better go see what's going on. Yeah, it's definitely starting to cool down a bit. I'm sorry. It One thing I notice about ice fishing, and especially when you're catching the evening bite, is that when the sun goes down, when you thought it was cold with the sun up, it starts to get really cold. I don't know if I've tried night mode on this unit. It's funny because I just sort of started using this unit and just felt like it was working great. And then I learned about all these other things it seems to be able to do. Just doing some real rattle strokes here on this rattle bait. Just getting down to the last 2 minutes here. Come on, fish, let's go. Yeah. Starting to get a little chilly on the hands. Oh yeah. So it's in night mode now, as we speak. Yeah, I know it does automatically do things. It like adjusts. I've seen it do that. Sometimes it can be not helpful. Like my camera here, it'll adjust and my camera won't be able to see it anymore, but it looks like it's doing okay right now. Yeah, I haven't been able to put in any really long days on the ice where I've been, able to sit and try to catch fish all day long. That's something I used to do when I was, I guess, before my son was born. So it was a little easier to invite your brother and just take it easy. Take it easy for 18 hours of fishing straight. Maybe before the end of the season I'll try to put in a solid one. Alright folks, so it looks like we hit 6 o'clock. And I better go see how things are going. So, thanks a lot for showing up. Looking forward to getting into the warm a little bit. I would sit here for a long time actually, but I should probably get some dinner going and whatnot. So, thanks a lot for joining me on the ice. Maybe next time we'll catch some more fish, you know. The last few times it's been one or two here or there, but it'd be nice if they were flying in. But if you think about it, the time that we're actually live streaming here is like a fraction of the amount of time you would probably spend fishing in a good session. And in that, you know, 6 to 12 hours of time, you might see a lot more fish. But in this case, it's only really an hour and a bit. And so we don't see nearly as many fish. That's my story, okay? Yeah. Anyway, thanks a lot for coming. We'll catch you guys next week. And hope everybody gets fishing out there. Send me some fishing pictures. And I can feature them in my upcoming ice reports and stuff like that. And thanks everybody for buying merch. Thanks everybody for showing up. And if anybody wants some I Cook with Ice hats, I figured out a cheap way to send them to you. See you guys later.